why'd you get into wrestling? I mean, not actually into wrestling. Like, why did you become a fan? Well, I'm assuming you were a fan, but I'm pretty sure.
I think like a lot of people my age, when I became a fan strictly because of Hulk Hogan. You see him and you see the Hollywood, the way he went about things, and almost movie star like, and he was the only wrestler at the time that was really like that, so he got your attention. And really, him and him alone is what made me a fan of wrestling at the time. Of course, after starting to watch, other things caught my eye and started watching other things, but to start, it was Hulk Hogan that got me involved.
Is there anything you remember, like one specific moment, not necessarily Hulk Hogan, but in wrestling, that you knew, wow, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to watch this. This is awesome.
Moment that actually captured me was, I don't remember exactly when. It was a Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We'll look that stuff up. Put it as a rolling caption underneath there. This is when that happened.
It was I think it was Honky Tonk Man versus Savage. I'm sure you remember. It ends up Hogan ended up coming out. Savage gets up ahead with a guitar. Heart Foundation are there. That went on. I was just intrigued with the whole thing. You know, the good versus evil, and that one I was hooked. You know, from that point on, you had to pry me away from the TV if wrestling was on.
So at that point, Savage was heel or face?
He was a heel.
Yeah,
he was ass.
So Honky was coming out. And
they were both heels. Yeah. That was right when Savage was getting ready to do his turn.
Yeah.
And
Mega Powers starting. Yeah. Is that at the right beginning of Mega Powers? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Mega Powers myself, but this isn't about me, so I'll shut up.
That's all right. It can be about both of us,
yeah. Well, let's see what else. Okay, then we go from the fan aspect of it. Then you actually wanted to do it. I think every fan wants to do it, but you actually had the opportunity. Tell us a little about what went on to get you to actually do it. What went through your mind? And be truthful. You know, don't try to gussy it up. But tell the absolute truth about. Like I was high one night or something. I'd go out wrestling.
I absolutely was high that night, but
there weren't.
I walk into a liquor store and I see a flyer of this wrestling promotion that's local, and I see a guy on there, and I'm not going to give his name at this point. I see a guy on there that I pretty much grew up with, and I looked at this flyer and I just said, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" And not only is he on here, but his picture's on there. And he's in the main event of this particular event that was coming up. And it just pissed me off, first and foremost. It pissed me off. And I did some research, found out where this place was at, and I just showed up. And my thought was, if this fuckhead can do it, there's no reason why I can't do it. And there wasn't. Next thing you know, I'm there.
Yeah, we got technical difficulties. Lights are falling down everywhere. I'm not even going to deal with it. We're just going to keep rolling. We're hardcore like that. All right. So you went in and did you like watch that show and watch him?
No, it was before the show ever even happened. I actually ended up working that show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I went into where the promoter at the time, he had been running shows where he would just rent out gyms locally and do his thing. Well, he had just rented his own building to where he'd be running shows on a regular basis. So I went in there where he had his guys in there in the ring and they were training. Kind of stood around and watched for a little bit, and the promoter looked at me and asked me who I was basically, and told him I wanted to wrestle. And he said, "Well, I like your look." You know, I had long hair at the time. I fit what you would look at for a wrestler. And I'd say probably 3-4 days later, it was my first time ever getting into the ring.
And did that go well?
I thought it would be easier than it was.
Yeah.
You know, because for one, I'd always been an athlete. But being in the ring is a totally different type of athleticism. So no, it didn't go great. It wasn't horrible. I've definitely seen a lot worse people getting in the ring for the first time.
Yeah. What time? Like you came in, he said, "Let's do this." you whatever arrangement, it doesn't matter. And then you got in, you started training. Did you pick it up really quickly? How'd that?
Really depends on how you look at it. Okay, you have your guys who their biggest goal is to learn everything immediately, or to learn to do everything there is available to do. I kind of didn't take it that way. Like I said, growing up, I watched Hulk Hogan. I watched, Brutus Beefcake, another one of my favorites. The guys that I tend to like didn't do a whole lot, yet what they did well.
Huh.
And that's kind of the way I went about what I did. I might not have done a whole lot of things, but anything that I did, I wanted to make sure I did it well. So, yes, I picked it up well because I limited what I was trying to accomplish at the time.
Do you have, like, from that first starting out, do you have any stories that you think are interesting? I mean, from your first days, like, wow, I thought it was going to be this, it turned out to be this, or I thought I was going to learn this, and I ended up learning this, or do you have anything?
Well, I made a comment a few minutes ago that it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be when I first got into the ring. Mind you, my first day, there was also another guy there. I think his name is Vic Malibu is what he ended up going by.
Whoosh!
Yep. Well, he was in the ring before I was, and he might have been in there 5-10 minutes, and he's leaning over the ring vomiting and gassed out, couldn't breathe. I'm thinking, damn, and he was a big guy. He was a little bigger than I was, but immediately it had me going, okay, I do not want this to happen, because as you're seeing this happen, although it happens to a lot of people, you got people over here laughing at them and making little jokes. I don't care who you are, you do not want to be the butt of anybody's jokes. So of course I had that in my mind. I was like, this is not going to happen to me. And luckily enough, it didn't. I did not get sick. But I just remember my first time thinking, that just cannot happen to me. That is so humiliating. I hear all the shit they're saying about this guy, and of course he didn't know. He still thought he was the greatest thing to ever walk the face of the earth. My first match was actually Battle Royal, which not really a whole lot to Battle Royals. Stay on your feet, get eliminated. It didn't do a whole lot for me because of the type of match it was. It was cool to be out there. The house was packed, so that was cool. It was an adrenaline rush, but the thing I remember most about that night is just the fans. I played sports my whole life, but when you're playing a sport, a ball, bat sport, or things of that nature, although there's lots of fans there, it's a totally different atmosphere than professional wrestling. When you're playing a sport, you got team members, you got other people out there, and not all the attention is directly on you. When you're in the ring, you mess up, everybody knows. And if somebody didn't see it, the guy next to him is going to say, see what that fucking dude just did? So, yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, but all in all, it went pretty well. Like I said, it was Battle Royal. It was pretty simple. It was a good thing to start, just to get the butterflies out. So, it was pretty cool.
You did it. You kept doing it. Why did you feel that it was fun for you? Why did you get into it so much? Because I remember, we're talking about shows that didn't start until 7 o'clock. You're one of the dudes that was there at like 10:30 in the morning when other people aren't even awake yet,
right,
trying to make stuff happen, man. If the doors are open, you were there. So what was it that motivated you to go that way? Was it just wanting to do it, or?
A lot of it, I think, especially the being there early and always wanting to be there, was the people I was surrounded by. Of course, I liked doing what I was doing, or I wouldn't put my body on the line every week to do it. But to get there much earlier than was needed on a weekly basis, like you said, you were there with me doing the same thing. You was there early. We didn't need to be there. We just chose to be there. And I think it was just because of the people that we were there with. We'd have more fun sitting there doing nothing than we would have sitting at home by ourselves doing nothing.